y'all. Welcome to the Honest to Goodness podcast,
where we give you our honest opinions
on good entertainment. I'm Morgan.
I'm Kerri.
I'm Nicole. And without further ado,
here's today's episode.
We hope you enjoy.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Honest to Goodness podcast, where we give you our honest opinion on good entertainment. I'm your host, Kerri, and today I replaced both Nicole with my friends, Reggie and Rayfield, aka Butch and Jeff from the Mayberry Man Series. Hi guys, thanks for joining me.
Howdy. that's my famous line, you know.
He's good at that, ain't he?
He is very good at that. He is very good at that.
Thanks for having us, Kerri.
Yeah.
I have been wanting to do this for, gosh, honestly, since the movie, and it just has not worked out. And then it's been, like 2 months since I asked y'all about doing it, and again, life. But I'm so glad that getting to do it now. But I have been friends with these two knuckleheads since 2019, and just getting to work with y'all on these sets has been an absolute joy. But y'all started your film debut in the Mayberry Man movie. So, Jeff, I'm going to let you start with this because I think you were a little bit more planned to be in the movie. So how did that come about? How did you get involved with that?
Well, I'll tell you, I was in on it from the beginning, but I was not planned to actually have a part.
Oh, really?
No, actually, neither me or Butch.
Well, I knew Butch wasn't. I thought you were.
We did not really have there was nothing that said, Jeff, you're going to be Rayfield and Butch, you're going to be Reggie. It didn't happen that way.
Right.
I'm correct on that, right, Butch? I mean,
oh yeah.
Butch has his story's even more by chance and interesting than mine. But we met Stark through Greg Shell. Greg talked him into coming to Mayberry days. Stark didn't have a lot of high hopes for the experience, but I think after the pressure, and this story's probably been told over and over, but he did go, and I waited up for Greg and Stark to make it into the hotel room. Butch, I think you were probably still up too that night. I can't really remember.
Yeah, down in where they gave the presentation and stuff.
Well, I'm talking when Stark first came to.
Oh, okay.
Showed up. Yeah, you know, before the movie was even mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were basically the first guys that Stark met, and it was probably 11:30 at night or something like that. And throughout the week, we in the downtime at the hotel, we just hung out with Stark a lot, right, Butch?
Yeah, we'd be down in the breakfast area, and you didn't know who was going to show up down there. It might be Maggie Peterson, it might be, you know, any of the celebrities, and Stark would come down, and we all just sat around tables and kind of shot the breeze.
Yep. So we met Stark that way, and by the end of the week, he was seeing something, you know, and he was having an idea, you know, and so some months went by, and you know, he contacted me and some other people and said, "Hey, I sent you an email. You know, check it out." And it was a script, and it was called. The original script was Mayberry Misdemeanor. That's what it was called. So there's a little inside
trivia
that most people would not have any idea of that. And the script was very different. Well, there was a lot of differences between that script and the final one. And in that script, he actually did have, you know, characters that were kind of based off of me and Butch. in Stark's experience with, you know, hanging out in the hotel lobby, you know, after the day's activities during the festival. But that kind of stuff really didn't make it into the final script.
Mm-hmm.
So I had signed up to help though on the teams. Kerri, you were a team leader too, I think, and we were raising money. You know, it Stark come back the next. It was the next year. Him and Court, and they made the pitch for the movie the following year, and we're talking about launching their Kickstarter, right, Butch? That's how
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Court come the second year.
Yeah, and
That was my
there was
first
no
year.
mention. There was no mention of us being in anything.
Oh no,
And even though I was helping raise money and doing stuff like that, and when we had the Kickstarter kickoff, they had one in Danville, and Butch was there, and a lot of the people that you would recognize as longtime Mayberry fans were there, and some new ones that people I'd never met that had heard about it, you know, and had showed up to get in on the Kickstarter. They had that in Danville. They had one in Mount Airy, and they were doing one in LA all at the same time. So we helped with that kind of stuff. And when filming started, I was like a PA to start with, like a gopher, you know, and my wife was COVID release person, you know, and she was a gopher, and Coy was a PA just doing production assistant work, you know, haul this over here, haul that over there, and
Were y'all hanging banners?
yes, hanging banners, and
yeah.
here's a little Butch hadn't made it to the scene yet.
No, I
And
wasn't
maybe,
there yet.
and maybe you don't want to get this far into depth, but it is really kind of luck how we got started into this. But I probably almost killed my Mayberry Man career right off the bat because I kind of questioned Tom Milo. You know, he wanted to do something, and I didn't know who Tom was. You know, and I kind of well, what do you want to do that for? Why don't we just go ahead and do this and that? You know, and I had no clue. So I was probably lucky to even remain on the set uh, because we love Tom, but on the Mayberry Man movie, you know, he come with the Hollywood mentality, you know, and he was like a general, you know. I mean, he got
He was the interloper. He was
yeah,
the
exactly. But you know, he really pushed the production through. He knew what he was doing, you know, and what he had to do. And of course, I had no business opening my mouth. But anyhow, yeah, we were just doing stuff like that. And let's see, it must have been on a Tuesday uh, of of production. We Court said, "Go tell Stark that you're going to be in a crowd scene. You know, you'll have like one line or something like that." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I went and seen Stark, and he's like, "No, no, 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 you're not going to do that because that might end up getting cut." He goes, "You're going to be Rayfield tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay, well, what does that entail?" I said, "Is that a bunch of dialogue or something?" "Oh, you'll be all right. Just go read your script." You know, and I kind of got worried because I'm like, oh, what's going to happen here? Just go read your script. You'll be all right. And and then I think it was that same day, Butch, didn't you come up? How did that
I
happen?
I
Butch
came up on a Sunday
on a okay, you were
because
even there before this. Yeah.
we Valerie and I went down to Browns County to see John McEwen with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and we just drove up and stopped in Danville just because we knew you guys would be there. And I was just standing there talking to maybe Daryl Miles, I'm not sure, but Court come up to me and said, "I've been looking for you." And I said, well, here I am, and he handed me the script and he said, here, I've got a small part for you. I said, oh, Court, I can't act. I've never done anything like that. And he said, no, it's really small. He said, you can do it. He said, just look at it and you'll be all right. And that's how I ended up getting the part.
Yeah, we had come out of the Mayberry Cafe. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And Court, we came out, and Court was coming across the street,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just chance.
Yep.
It was chance that you were there. It was chance that Court caught you before you left. And the big deal was that you had to come back on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you didn't really think Valerie would be too up for that.
Well, we're an hour behind you guys. You got an hour. Indiana's an hour ahead of us, so shoot, we had to get up at 4:00 and get to Danville. And I'd been retired.
In other words, he got up at the same time that the rest of us did.
Yeah. So, but I had no intention, because I just, if you know me, you don't believe it. But I'm kind of introverted a little bit. If I don't know you, I don't, but. And I only, and I ended up only having one line, and we were we were getting ready to do it, and we were at the autograph table, and Brett was going to sign autographs, and Jeff was ahead of me, and everybody's seen his scene and with his wife Jenny, and so then I'm after Jeff, and I'm supposed to walk up to the table and say howdy. Well, I walked up to the table and said, hey, I hung my head and I said, I only had one line. I didn't even have a line. I had one word and I've messed it up, and everybody laughed. And so we went back and got it all started again. But as I was leaving, Brett looked at me and said, Butch, he said, make it weird. And I thought, I went back in line and I'm trying to think, how do you make one word weird? And I sat there and I thought, and all I could think of was there was an episode on Seinfeld that they had a friend that was a close talker, and he'd go to talk to somebody and he'd just be right there in their face. So come my time, and I got up there and I leaned over the table and I got just as close to Brett's face as I could and said, howdy. Everybody cracked up. We had to do it 2 or 3 more times just because everybody was laughing so much. But finally got my one line out. So that was my big story.
So that's how we got into the movie, and we still did production work and everything else, and and there's Carly.
Yeah.
Carly is Carly's in the movie. She's in my squad car. If you pause it quick enough, you can see her doing her parade wave.
Her princess wave.
Yeah. Yeah, her princess wave. But that's how Butch and I got into it. It was really, kind of just chance. I mean, I was there for the long haul helping, but I had I did not have a part. And Butch just happened to, be there at the right time. If he would have went on home instead of coming up to Danville to say hey to everybody, it wouldn't have happened, and we wouldn't be here today talking about it. But we finished the week out doing production work there in Danville. Butch hung around that rest of that day, and we built the
Bert's merchandise.
Yeah, the Weaver's department store stand. We put all that together and stuff, and it's just stuff like that. That's what we did, and so I was around for the week, so if you're watching the movie, you'll see me in other spots, and just in the background. And but that was how Reggie and Rayfield got their start. We didn't even hear Reggie's name in the movie. It was in the script though as Reggie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can see Butch's wife Valerie in the autograph line with us. Well, you were there, Kerri. You're right behind us too.
I
right?
was. Yeah. I was right behind you actually, because you remember when we were standing in line waiting to go in, like when they're setting up the scene in there or whatever, and you had like lint or something on your back, and I start like pulling stuff off your shirt. And the lady was standing there looking at us like, what the?
I remember that now. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
remember being in there while Butch was filming his scene with Brett, and literally when that first howdy and Brett lost it. And
Yeah.
you like every time we do it, but you kept apologizing to him, like, I'm sorry, because you kept making him laugh. He's like, no man, it's good. Just keep doing it. You know, that was the best part of that was watching Brett lose it. Like it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, when I was standing in line to get to go back and do that scene, I don't know how many mints and lifesavers and stuff I ate just because I knew I'd be so close for him. I didn't want him me to say howdy and him go
Oh, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I was an extra coordinator on the movie, and so to along with Vicky, so to be in those scenes, and nobody told me, like none of us had ever been on a film set before.
Right.
Like none of us knew what the heck we were doing. So nobody bothered to tell me on the days that I was slated to be an extra that I was supposed to find somebody else to be an extra coordinator. So instead, I'm just like wrangling extras, getting everybody where they need to be, and then jumping in line. And then, like, I think it was the day that because me and Vicky actually both had a line in the movie, that got cut. And that particular day, I think it was Court was like, so who did you get to take over as extra coordinator? And I'm like, nobody. Like, I was just gonna handle it. He's like, you can't, you're not supposed to do both. You're supposed to do this. I'm like, what the heck? Like, nobody told me I could do that. But yeah, so what were y'all's thoughts? Obviously, we've talked about the movie. What were y'all's thoughts when they started talking about doing a series and that y'all were gonna be kind of a major part of it?
Is that what we are?
Yes.
Um, well, I don't know. We knew the series was going to happen. Okay. Looky there, we got a
Hey, a Shriner or
golden door to good fellowship.
yeah,
Love it.
Yeah.
Geronimo.
Geronimo, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I
Careful,
think
Carly. He may like volume.
they had I think they'd done some online stuff, and Stark called me one day and said, and I don't know if he gave you a call or not, Butch. Did he?
No, he about everything went through you.
Yeah, I think I think he said, hey, relay this to Butch, but I want you guys to know, I don't want you to be surprised. And but when we go live on, it was a Wednesday live, I think, or Monday live, whatever it was. He goes, there's going to be an announcement that you and Butch, Reggie and Rayfield, are going to be moved up to supporting cast. He goes, that's going to be announced on the live. And so let Butch know about it. So he said, I just wanted you guys to know that so that you're not caught off guard while you're watching it. And so that was the first mention of us being in the series more than we were in the movie. We were going to be regular Mayberry citizens and be part of the storyline. So, and that was probably on the, I don't know, probably the third, maybe the third Mayberry Man this series live that he announced that. I really can't remember, but so, and fame just took off from there, right, Butch?
Yeah, it just skyrocketed. Yeah,
We've been fighting off the offers and the ladies ever since.
paparazzi.
Wait a minute, we've been fighting with our wives ever since.
Oh yeah,
that's
right.
what it is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, y'all wives putting up with y'all, they're saints. Anyway,
Bless their
uh,
hearts.
Well, I hate to brag on them, but they both have been great through all this.
They have.
They got a lot of kicks out of it, and I think they enjoyed it about as much as we did, but probably not as much.
yeah, I know.
I-
I know you're Stephanie and Coy and Carly, I believe, were extras in the Christmas parade scene.
they are, and if you watch closely, Sherry
Hmm.
or Valerie, aka Sherry in the script, there's inside info too.
Yeah.
Butch's wife
Hmm.
in the script is called Sherry, and
Yeah.
he brings his wife to the series.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny disappears,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but if you watch the parade scene close, you'll see Reggie and Sherry in the parade scene.
Yeah. I've got my Mayberry Union High uh, heavy coat on.
Yes.
So if you look for orange, because it goes quick, but if you look for the orange sleeve jacket, that's me. And Valerie's
Yeah.
right there.
All I remember from that night, honestly, is by the time it was what 4 o'clock in the morning and they're still filming and extras have left at that point and I'm getting hollered at because again I was an extra coordinator and I'm getting hollered at, bring me such and such and such and such. I'm like, look, these people have gone home. They're not being paid to do this. I can't make them
No.
stay.
Yeah,
Whatever. And by the time they were finishing up the last few scenes, there were a few of us crew members laid out on the grass, kind of pretending to be asleep when they were trying to call us to help because we were done.
yeah. It was a late night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Stephanie and Coy stayed for the whole thing, and my mom and dad
Yep.
came down and were extras, and bless their hearts, they and I told them, I said, hey, you might get in the series, you might not. I said, but it'll probably be a long night. I didn't tell them it would be all night, but it was all night, and they were troopers. I'll tell you, that's the first time I think I'd stayed up all night in years, if not my life.
Oh yeah.
But
Well, and do you remember what happened the day leading up to that shoot? We
oh
were
yeah,
we were supposed to like have all that day to rest. Everything was all set up. We were filming that night at the Danville Courthouse Square
yep,
and whatever. And I went out, got me some lunch, came back, laid down. Like I had emails to send out that morning. Came back, laid down, was going to take a nap because I knew we had an all night shoot. And my phone starts blowing up and they're like, yeah, we're having to change locations, email all your extras and whatever. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And there was a gang trial
Oh
going on
yeah.
in
Yeah.
Danville Courthouse. So we couldn't film on the square. And you remember, like, we're scrambling, trying to find somewhere to film
yeah,
and ended up at the park. We get to the park to try to set up, and there are cop cars going everywhere.
yep.
And we're like, what the heck is going on? So, yeah, just leading up to that night was
Yeah.
chaos.
You guys had props and stuff, Christmas decorations around the square and everything already, so all that stuff had to be moved.
Thankfully,
Honestly,
that was not my job, but yes,
honestly, I think the park worked out much better. It kind of
agreed.
compacted it,
Mm-hmm.
and made it look more full. The
Mm-hmm.
tree and the gazebo and everything. I thought it was better than probably what it would have looked like in town. What do you think, Butch?
Well, you'd have needed more people in town. I mean, to make it look crowded.
Yeah,
The park scene. If you don't know any better, it looks like it's a full packed parade.
yeah.
So Levi Riggs was there.
Mm-hmm.
Was on a trailer, and
I think it would. I think it looked a lot better in the park. It would have been a lot harder in town to
yeah, I do too.
make it look as good as it did in the park. So, I mean, fate works in mysterious
Oh,
ways.
It's worked. It's worked all through this
Yeah.
Mayberry Man, the series. Yeah,
Yep.
oh,
good Lord,
exactly.
good Lord provides.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So what? We'll talk a little bit more about like your actual experience of like the characters and whatever here in a minute. Jeff, you mentioned that on the movie you questioned Tom Milo. What was what was different or the same to you about working on the movie versus working on the series? Did you kind of feel like you had a little more under your belt, people,
I, I
or
I felt a lot more at ease. When we did the movie, I had like 6 lines or something like that. I was scared to death. Thank goodness the lady that played Jenny was an actress and had experience, and she calmed me down and talked me through it, and we rehearsed together, and she gave me a few pointers, and she pulled me through it. Lynn McPherson was her name, and but by the time we did the series, I'd actually done something else in between there, and I was feeling pretty good about it, and I think Stark had really he kind of talked to Butch and I, hey, you guys are just be yourself. Reggie and Rayfield is Butch and Jeff, and I
Mhm.
I think when you say Butch, that's kind of how he.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I said all along that I thought we did a decent job in the series because we didn't have to act. We were just being Jeff and Butch. I mean, goofy Jeff and goofy Butch. And there wasn't any pressure. I remember Jeff mentioning Tom Milo, and my first impression of him, I think I leaned over to Jeff and I said, he kind of scares me, you know, here I was probably 66 or 67 years old, and he's just kind of intimidating. But after you're around him and you get to know him, he was a great guy.
Yeah,
Everybody, everybody was great. I mean,
yeah.
uh,
Tom transformed. Uh,
Mhm.
you know, I was on set enough for the movie to see how all that was, but by the end of the movie, and then when he came back to do the series, he was different. He was
Tom had
much
his
more
own Mayberry
easygoing.
Man experience.
He was much more
yeah.
easygoing and relaxed, and
Mhm.
he kind of became one of us.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, really, and I think he realized that.
Mhm.
I think he had a hard time breaking out of being a Hollywood,
Mhm.
you know, production. He was like what was Tom, like assistant director, or what was,
Yeah, his first assistant director.
yeah, he was like a first, yeah. So he had a hard time, I think, breaking out of that Hollywood shell during the movie. But by the time we did this, he just realized that these people are easy to work with. They don't have
Mhm.
attitudes, and they're just,
Egos.
yeah, no egos. They are the Mayberry people and we,
Mhm.
almost outside of a few outside actors that were real actors,
Mhm.
we're all Mayberry fans that have known each other for years. So we were just, it was easy for us to be in those roles. Yeah, we had dialogue and stuff to learn that Stark wrote, but like Butch said, we, we were just our goofy selves, really. And I think that's what Stark wanted. So
100%, 100%. And y'all talking about Tom. I don't think I've ever told him this. But because I mean, it doesn't sound great, but I mean, we're talking about this. Tom was very intimidating. Of course, on the movie, 90% of us on set had never done anything like this before. But somebody, I don't even remember who it was trying to find Tom. And this was like one of the first days of filming. And they're like, who is Tom Milo? Like, who do I look for? And I told them to go look for a short, gray headed man with a bad attitude. And they found him.
they found him. Yeah.
And they found him. But now,
Well,
like, going from that to by the time we did the series, I could get in Tom's face and go, look, like you're not listening to me. Here's a problem. And he's trying to go, hang on, hang on, hang on. I got to do this. And I'm like, Tom, look me in the eye. Here is a problem. We need to. He's like, oh, okay, and he would go deal. So I love Tom to death. I really hope I get to work with him again.
Yeah, that would be cool to get to work with Tom again. Yeah.
Well, he just did another movie with Ashley.
Oh, did
Ashley,
he?
yeah, the movie that Ashley just filmed with Trevor Donovan. Tom was on set. He was working on set.
Well, that's cool. That's good for her.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, me and Eva were like, wait a minute, where was our invite for this? Like, come on. But yeah, so yes, you guys did absolutely kill it in the series as Reggie and Rayfield, and have kind of built your own little fan base.
Yeah.
Y'all are only paying 25 cents an autograph now instead of $1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Our manager, Greg Barkley, he's gonna have to start picking up the pace a little bit.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to say about the movie and the series is that I never saw any tension, any arguments, any bad feelings. I mean, it was almost like for Jeff and I a big family reunion because we knew so many people, and that's part of why we weren't nervous, probably because we knew everybody. And if I'd seen somebody do a line and then say somebody like Tom blows up and screams, I'd have probably walked out. But that never happened on the movie, and then on the series, we had a lot of fun, and just one of those experiences that I never thought I'd have the chance to do, and something I'll remember forever. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Stark and Court, you got to love them to death because they took a chance on Jeff and I and some other people, and seemed like everything turned out okay. And it's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And that's what I've told several people. What I've had people like come to me with like tiny complaints about how they're handling things or whatever. I'm just like, you know what? Look, I don't always agree with them. Like, everybody's gonna have their own opinion. I was like, but they're my guys, and I'm like, they took a chance on me, so I'm gonna believe in them, and I'm gonna trust them to do what they need to do. So I'm just like, that's for me. Like, they're my guys. I love them to death. But there's a funny story about y'all in the series. Y'all probably did not think it was that funny at the time. But there's this scene in the series where you're running out of corn at the corn stand. So Reggie runs off into the cornfield to go pick some more corn, and then Rayfield goes to help him. And what happened?
We got lost.
Yeah, we got deserted. Yeah, we stood out there, and we were supposed to move corn, act like we're lost, and he's saying Reggie, and I'm saying Rayfield, like we're trying to find each other, and they're also still filming the corn wagon, the scene, and both of us are too scared to say anything because we didn't want it to come out and be caught on the movie or anything. So we stood there, and finally, what was his name, Jeff?
Logan.
Logan.
Because we stayed out because we learned that back to one meant start over, and then cut, and then they'd say wrap or whatever, they'd let you know when we were done.
And the very little noise could be overheard.
Yeah, and we were just really, really quiet, waiting for further instructions. But we waited, and by that time it was starting to warm up in that cornfield. And we started kind of talking to each other. We talked to one another, and then Logan Huntsman, who had come over to the corn stand to do something, get something or whatever, he's like, "Hey, are you guys still out there?" Is that what he said, Butch?
Yeah.
And said, "Yeah, we're waiting for the scene to end." He said, "They all went to lunch." They left us out there in that cornfield.
Yeah. So we made a beeline for the lunch table, and I walked up to Stark and Court and everybody, and I chewed on them. I said, "Hey, I said, I know this was intentional. I said, Jeff and I's been standing out there in that cornfield for 20 minutes, 120 degrees. I said, and I said, don't tell me you forgot us. I said, you all did. I said, you all been sitting right here giggling and laughing about it. You know,
Stark sat there as stone faced. He just kept eating his lunch and never acknowledged the fact that we were out there, or or that they did it on purpose. Or he just kept eating. Never said a word, did he, Butch?
no, no.
To this day, he won't own up to it to us anyway. I'm sure he probably has to somebody else, but he hasn't told us that it was on purpose. But we know it was.
They blew a lot of my ego out of the water when they did something like that. And then Jeff and I had a last scene at Wally's in the series, and they're sending Kate off to California. And and I don't know how movie protocol goes or anything, but Jeff and I did our last scene holding that banner and stuff. And when everything was done, I think Tom or somebody, Stark or Core, somebody said, all right, this was the last scene for Butch and Jeff, Reggie and Rayfield. They said, we want to thank them, for helping us out. And everybody applauded, and I thought to myself, that's pretty nice. I said, there's, nice to be recognized. And I said that to Court at dinner that night. I said, I thought it was pretty nice. Everybody applauded. And he said, well, that's what they do in a movie. After the last scene, somebody's last scene, they all just applaud. I said, boy, Court, I said, you're not giving me any confidence. I said, you left me in the cornfield. You're telling me that they really did. They just had to applaud, But, we had a lot of fun on that.
We thought we were something special there for a minute until we realized that they wrap every character like that up when you're done. Although little did they know we weren't done, were we, Butch?
No.
We were not done. So we did film more after that.
Yeah, we had the bitch scene, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, so we did our filming in Danville, at the outside of Danville actually, for the corn stand stuff, where where our storyline takes place really. And that was 2 days, wasn't it, Butch?
Yeah.
Two days. I think it was the first 2 days of filming, actually.
I think so.
I think it was. And we had good weather until they left us in the cornfield. Then it was starting to heat up. So but it was just we didn't, when you shoot a movie, you got to take different shots from different angles. You do the same thing over with the cameras placed differently and everything. But so you do it more than once, just because they're filming it from a different direction or whatever. And but Butch, I don't really recall us messing up.
Well, other than my Howdy.
Your Howdy, yeah. Well, we're talking the series now.
Series, no. Well,
even here's trivia. Even the scene where we leave the cornfield the first day, and we thank Shane for the jobs, because we were obviously unemployed for some reason. Maybe that'll come out in a future episode or something. Why we had to go work for Shane. But when we turn around and he tosses us the corn, that was one take. Wasn't it, Butch?
Yeah. Because I toyed with the idea of missing it on purpose and letting it hit me in the head or something. But I was still kind of intimidated by Tom, so I didn't want to ad lib anything. And Jeff mentioned Shane, Jacob Winter, but the Alan Newsom and Rick Roberts and Jacob and all those guys were great. I mean, none of them, that was actually active. Brett Barville and Ashley, they didn't make you feel below them or anything. I mean, they were great. They, everybody treated you great.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you remember this or not, but my car was actually the one they used as y'all's car in that. So if Reggie and Rayfield have to have another car in another scene, y'all got an upgraded ride. I'm
Okay.
just saying, I finally got a new vehicle.
Well, Shane probably pays pretty good. He's
Yeah,
big
probably now.
millionaire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, now
Rich
if we come back if we ever get to do anything again, it's hard telling what we'll have because we're rich now.
Yeah.
true.
I'm sure Shane treated us well.
This
I'm
is
sure he
true.
treated us well.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you just started a whole different thing in my head. Y'all get me started. My brain will go off. Um, but yeah, I remember funny story when I picked up Jacob from the airport for filming for that, and I was standing outside my car holding a little, grabbed a sheet of paper out of my car and wrote Shane across it. So I was standing there holding that when he came out. He just grinned, but then I took him back to the airport when he finished filming. And one thing he had not gotten to do, actors from other part of the country, he had not gotten to eat at Cracker Barrel while
Oh.
he was the whole time he was there. So he wanted to go eat at Cracker Barrel. I'm like, okay, we'll make it happen. So we go to Cracker Barrel, and I think Jacob, I we're right at the same age. I don't remember if he's just older or just younger than me, but we're like right at the same age. So we're sitting there in Cracker Barrel talking, and you could tell the waitress thinks young guy, young girl,
Uh-huh.
that we're there together, whatever. And so I don't remember exactly. She said something about um something about like where y'all from or something, and I'm like, well, he's from New York. And she was like, he said, and she's from Georgia, and her face got so confused. She's just like, how are y'all here? I'm like, we're filming a series. He's an actor. She's like, oh, just the look on her face was so funny. I'm like, bless her heart. We confused the heck out of this poor lady. Um, but yeah. And then Jeff, you and I have actually gotten to work on another film
Yeah, yeah,
project together.
yeah. You reprised your role. You moved up to like a assistant director, second director. Is that what you were called?
On the
Something?
series, on the Mayberry Man series, okay, so on the movie, I started out as an extra coordinator. On the series, I was one of two extra coordinators on the movie. And then on the series, I was the only extra coordinator for the majority of filming. Obviously, they had a different one for California, but and then I was second assistant director on the movie. But then Pink Polka Dots that you and I worked on together,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, I was first assistant director on that, and I made Eva second director
yeah.
on it.
And that was a lot of fun.
That
That was
was a lot of fun.
that was a lot of work for you guys, but that was a lot of fun.
We filmed for 3 days. Like it was a 3 day shoot. It was a short film. It was like what 20 minutes long. And
It's closer to 30, but yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so I had been helping Christian. Like I was actually the one that brought Christian on to the role, to the position. And that so I've been helping him like leading up to it and everything. And I finally get out there, and it was a 3 day film shoot, and we calculated it up. And if you had one person, just one person per position that is supposed to be on a film set, you would have had a minimal crew of 15. There
Yeah.
were three of us. I mean,
Yeah, I was on
Draven
that for
did,
one day, and it was a 16-hour day for me. And
yeah,
then I came back and did another 3 hours a few months later for
that's
some
right.
stuff. But that little deal was kind of like a little Mayberry reunion for us too, because it was me and you and Eva was, a
Mm-hmm.
PA and stuff on the Mayberry Man movie, and even a bigger role in the series. She did a lot of work on that, and then Draven Marie, she was the makeup. She was
For
on that, but she was the one that made us look so good in
Well,
Cornfield.
yeah,
We
that
she,
probably wasn't real hard to do though.
it didn't take a lot. did it? You know, I mean,
Well, she had problems with me because I sweat so much. She'd always be coming over there daubing on me, you know.
well, yeah, Butch got a lot of daubing. I don't most of the time. Well, the 2 days we started out really early, so I
Mhm.
don't think she
Yeah.
could see to put the makeup on for,
Well,
uh,
the
at the
first
start
day,
of the day.
I went and stayed all week with Jeff, and we got up and we got to the farmhouse that first day, and it was still dark. And Jeff and I got out and started setting up tables, and probably, they had a job for everybody, but probably wasn't supposed to, but there wasn't anybody else there, so we did that. And
So we were PAs even on the series. We were
yeah,
production assistants or helpers,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call us.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, with the pink polka dots, it was me, you, Eva, Draven, and Christian
Christian,
had
yes,
worked
of
on
course.
both the movie and the series as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
He wasn't as involved in the series, but he was there for the series as well. So yeah, we had
He's
our own
in
little Mayberry Man. And then
he
Terry brought his squad car.
yeah, Terry's
yeah.
squad car was in it, so Terry was up there. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a little bit of a Mayberry reunion for us anyway. But
Mhm.
yeah, back to the series though, we shot there at the cornfield and had a great time. Let's think of something funny, Butch. Ah,
Well,
I got
Alan,
some picture proof. Here's some inside funny stuff about us during the filming, the corn scene stuff.
Mhm.
So, and people don't, this is something you don't know unless you're there seeing stuff being filmed. We're mic'd, we're wired for sound. And Tony Smiles was a sound man, and he had all kinds of microphones and stuff. And what you would have, you would run them up through your shirt or up through your pants or whatever, and then they'd be hidden out of sight. And he had like ace bandage wrap to wrap you up, which probably knows where this is going.
yeah, I know now. Yeah,
he, he, so we're all, and Kerri, I don't know if you even seen this or remember it, but right out in the front yard of the farmhouse, Tony is wiring Butch,
Mhm.
and and he had these bibs, so he's having a little trouble getting them bibs undone so that Tony can get him wrapped.
Mhm.
So he just lets him fall. So Butch was standing right there in front of the farmhouse, and Tony's wiring him, and Butch's bibs are all the way to the ground. Butch is standing there in his underwear and his shirt getting wired for sound. I was quick enough to turn around and snap a picture or two of that. So I've got that on him.
yeah. You get my age, you don't really worry about anything, you know.
But Tony was a great guy. He
Oh
was
yeah,
he was
I
he was a
I
lot
did
of fun
like
to work
him.
with.
I still go back and forth with him on Facebook,
Yeah.
and I really, there's friendships that you made that I may never see Tony again. I don't know, and some, and some of the other people that helped, but it was, we made a lot of friends and cemented ones we already had, and it was. I keep coming back to it, but it was very memorable.
Yep.
Oh, exactly. Well, Butch, I don't think you've worked on any other productions besides the Mayberry Man Productions, have you?
No, no, I'm waiting on the big ones. I keep thinking Spielberg or somebody will call me, and Greg Barkley hasn't done much, so I
Well,
may have,
Barkley's working on it though. Greg's working on it. I'm sure he's going to get you that big role.
yeah.
So
I was
how many productions have you done, Jeff? Because I just saw you were doing another one with Sam the other day.
I'm not sure. I've got to get a certain number to have more than a certain person. I'm not sure where I'm at on that number, but
it's
anyhow,
not it's not
um,
Jeff Barry either.
not Jeff Barry. It's not you, Jeff. Uh, Let me think. Maybe nine or something. They're not all on IMDb yet.
Uh,
Um, and you know, they're not big stuff. Now the one I just did with Sam. I mean, it's an opening scene of the movie. It was 6 pages. So it's a short opening scene, and that's all I'm in it. But it's a full length feature, so
Oh,
He's got a lot of film yet, and Sam was involved in the movie and in the series as a gaffer and assistant and stuff. And well, Butch, didn't you have some dialogue with Sam at the corn stand, or did that
Uh,
you had a line with him, but then I think they gave it to Shane or something, right?
yeah, yeah. Was he the one that was walking by and said, thanks, thanks for the corn or something? I'm supposed to say, okay, and he wanted me to call not his name, well, not his name, but he wanted me to use his dad's name because his dad had just passed
Yeah.
away, and Shane stole it from me. So
So Sam was in the series, and he's also in the like the first scene in the series in the movie theater
yes.
when Jacob, not Jacob,
Jason Fredericks.
Jason, yes, when he goes into the theater to see the Mayberry event winding down,
uh,
the tribute artists are on the stage. Sam is
Mhm.
sitting in the audience. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's got his own little production company, and
Yeah.
I've done a couple things with Sam. So yeah,
I've gotten to work on one production with Sam, which was actually when maybe the first Scottsburg event.
yeah,
Because I came up, was like there for the first part of the Scott, like for the dinner at Scottsburg. The next day I was filming with Sam, and then I was back at Scottsburg. Um,
that was a 48-hour film project too, wasn't it?
it
Yeah,
was.
I did one of those with Sam. That's really
Oh yeah.
that was a little more intense than the Mayberry Man stuff.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. It was fun.
it
But
was fun.
didn't you just actually win an award for one of your roles with
yes,
him?
yes, he did.
Yeah,
He doesn't count it as a reward.
now hardly. My daughter's here next to me. Yeah,
Hit him for
Sam
me.
Sam entered it in. He's entered it in some film festivals, and it. I think he that film and maybe the one you worked on too won several
Ready
awards.
or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I won several awards at the film festival. I can't remember how many maybe 12 different awards, and
Mm.
I think there was 1,200 or 1,400 entries into that. So I mean, yeah, it was a film festival in India, but
Mhm.
they screened all of them and
Mhm.
narrowed it down, and we walked away with a lot of awards. So I mean, I guess that says something.
I
I
don't.
watched some of those other shorts and stuff that were in that festival, and you could tell that some of those people had a lot of money with some really
Mhm.
fantastic equipment and stuff, and we still came away with some awards. So yeah, I got a best supporting actor.
I don't know how this Zoom works or anything, but I don't know. Can you see that's Jeff? That's Jeff's trophy.
There you go.
Yeah, he got a trophy.
And that will be forever a picture because that cost $100 to get that shipped over here, and I thought I'd just screenshot the picture
There
and
you go.
yeah. So
But
Lord.
Jeff made the comment a little bit ago that a lot of them are just real short and didn't try to downplay them. But 4 years ago, Jeff, would you have even thought about being in one movie?
no, I mean
No.
that's the whole. I mean, this is just. I don't want to say it's the end of our the peak of our Mayberry experience, but Butch has been doing this Mayberry stuff longer than I have by at least a few years. So, and I think this will be my 25th year or something at Mayberry Days. So Butch is, what is it, yours?
30,
20,
be 30.
be 30 for Butch.
Yeah.
So we started out as regular Mayberry fans, going to these Mayberry events and Mayberry Days, which is the granddaddy of all Mayberry events. But there used to be more of them. We had Mayberry in the Midwest down in Newcastle. There were events in Nashville, in Tennessee, and Butch went to. Did you go to one in Michigan one year?
Uh, no,
Did
I
you
don't.
go?
There's been a couple in Illinois and Indiana, and like I said, North Carolina, Kannapolis, and
Kannapolis. There you go.
yeah,
That's the one I
and
was thinking of. But So we just, Butch has gone to them and I've gone to them and all over wherever they have them, we went. And we're just fans, and as the years went on, we kind of got a little more onto the inner circles and stuff. And I got a squad car and that kind of, you know, you kind of get more involved when you have something like that because they use it in parades and stuff like that. So you get a little closer to the people, but just being in it for so long, we got to know so many people and became like family members with people all over across the country. And then the cast members we got to know really well.
Yeah.
And so there's thousands of people that go and experience the festivals, but we just kept getting more involved and more involved, and not on the level that the tribute artists are. I mean, they're really involved, but we got to consider these cast members our close friends, our good friends.
Oh yeah.
Maggie and Ronnie and even Betty Lynn. I kept in contact with her a lot until she moved to Mount Airy and stuff. But the Dillards. I mean, Butch was super friends with Dean.
Dean Webb, but yeah, and was pretty friendly with Doug.
Yeah, I mean, we knew these guys, and visited them. I went and visited Mitch at his house, and Maggie come and stayed with us, and so all this stuff was happening to us, And then we get to know Stark and Court, and then all of a sudden there's a talk of this movie, doing this movie, and we're like it. And even like Alan said, when Stark mentioned it to him, he's, oh yeah, sure.
It'll never happen.
Yeah, really didn't expect it to materialize, but it did. And then all of a sudden, here we are. We've been able to experience all this Mayberry stuff over the last 3 decades, and now all of a sudden, we're in a movie about it, and then we're in a series about it. And it is really, you got to pinch yourself every now and then to think about what we've been able to do, right, Butch?
Well, yeah, we talked earlier about, God bringing us all together, and what are the odds with the thousands of people that show up at Mayberry Days that somehow, and I can't even remember really how it started, how Jeff and his family and me and my family met and got together, along with the Debbie and Daryl Miles, Kathy and Troy Taylor, and you could just go on, and out of thousands of people, we connected, and then here 30 years later we're still friends, and it's just amazing. I I just love it when we go to Mayberry Days. Like Jeff said, it's just a big family reunion. We get together to eat.
No.
I am so ready to get to another pork chop sandwich. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Hey, it's coming up 3 weeks. Are you making it this year?
Hopefully. Life has been so crazy lately. I have the hotel, I have tickets to Colonel Tim's, and I have tickets to Ronnie's show. So I'm really, really hoping nothing crazy comes up to prevent us coming. But it seems like every weekend plumbing or something happens, and
life happens. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you've got to just throw that aside, because there's been, since I've been going, there's been a lot of events that was going to happen on that weekend, and one of them was my son's wedding, and they just picked that out of the clear blue, and I said, that's fine, but I won't be there. I said, I've got one weekend out of the year that I've got something planned. I said, you've got 51 other weekends that you could, and they moved the wedding, so you've just got to put things aside and go. It's once a year.
The only thing that I know of that could prevent us going would be if something like crazy. We just had to get my car fixed because one of the control arms broke on it. So like it's been something constantly. So he's got the time off work. We've got everything else. Just hoping everything goes through for it. My daughter is allergic to dairy, so she's very much looking forward to going and getting a goat cheeseburger at the local. She can have that. So she's very much looking forward to that. But anyway, so anyway, thank you guys so much for coming on and doing this with me. Like I said, I really hope I get to see y'all guys soon. I'm greatly missed not being able to come to Scottsburg this year. But I have been wanting to have y'all on and talk about this, like I said, for since we did the movie. So thank y'all so much for coming on and doing it.
Thanks for having us. Like I said, one thing Jeff and I can do is sit and talk Mayberry forever.
Yeah, we don't have to stop if you don't want to stop. We'll keep talking.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, I'm gonna end the actual episode, but y'all hang out and we'll keep talking after I stop the recording.
Okay.
But,
well, Kerri, thank you so much
Yeah.
for having us. And you know what? Hey, let's keep our fingers crossed that something happens and we get to continue the Mayberry Man series. You know,
agreed.
It might go on to a smaller scale, a cheaper scale, but Stark is still the wheels are still turning up there.
Yeah.
You know, he's got ideas and stories, and it's just a matter of will we and can we and what would it be like if we get to do it, and
Finances.
There's hope that you might see us all again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would love it. I would absolutely love it if that could continue.
It would be wonderful.
Oh yeah. And to the people listening to this, I apologize. It took me so long to upload the interview with Eva that the information is completely outdated. But I will try to get some info. I know the series is on Amazon Prime. I don't know where else it is, honestly, right now. I'll have to look it up. Because like I said, life's been a little crazy, so I haven't stayed on top of it like I normally would have. But anyway, I will try to get y'all some info on where to be able to watch that right now. And my phone is going ballistic. But anyway, but thank you guys. I'm going to end the podcast. Y'all hang out for just a minute and we'll keep chatting. But thank you guys for listening and we'll see you again next time. Bye.
All right. See ya. God bless you.